good to be with you on this Monday, starting another week. And sometimes we look at our responsibilities and all that's happening, and we can get a little weighed down on Monday. Maybe you had a great Sunday, but then Satan loves to come along and discourage us. And of course, there's been a number of things that have occurred in the last several weeks that have been a bit discouraging for us in general and confusing. And we sometimes can feel alone, can feel like we're powerless to handle things, and there's that little click where we can make the decision either to trust God or to start getting discouraged. And God does not want us ever to fall into that self-pity or discouraging mode. In fact, He has done something for us, and I love to mention this. In the high priestly prayer of Christ, as He was talking to disciples on the way to the Garden of Gethsemane, He then starts to pray, and He prays to the Father, a glorious prayer. I would encourage you to read chapter 17 on a regular basis because it'll thrill your heart. It'll give you a right perspective. This is the genuine Lord's Prayer. And in this prayer, there's just one verse that has always resonated with me and encouraged me, and that's verse 20. Neither pray I for these alone, speaking of the disciples walking with Him, but for them also which shall believe on me through their word. So the next generation that were reached by the disciples there in Jerusalem and in other places, He's praying for them. And then all those that they would reach, and all those that they would reach, getting down to the year 2020. And so there in that little walk to the Garden of Gethsemane, before He was Himself going to agonize in prayer, He prayed for you and He prayed for me. Just think about that. And then, of course, we find in 1 John that He ever lives to make intercession for us. He is constantly interceding on our behalf. He is our advocate. And that is a thought that never gets old. That not only did Jesus pray for me back before He went to the cross and prayed for me on the cross, He is praying for me on a regular basis now, interceding based on the working of the Holy Spirit in our hearts, and that intercession of the Holy Spirit with groanings which cannot be uttered. All of that goes together, and we can know that God is not only on our side, but God the Son is praying to God the Father for you and for me. So you're not alone today. Things are not hopeless today. Things are not beyond being able to salvage. God is praying for you. Jesus, who has paid the price, He's satisfied the Father's judgment. He's done it all. And the Father is never going to say no to Him. And He right now is interceding for you. Well, that's encouraging. Satan comes along and says, nobody cares about you. Where's God? Why is He letting that happen? That's not fair. And as we get bitter toward people or situations, we can, before we know it, find ourselves bitter against God. Why did you let that happen? God, why am I going through this? Why is this not going well for me now? This is discouraging, Lord. And what we've got to do is realize we're right on the edge of blaming God, when the real fact is God is shaping us and working, and He's praying for us. He is moved by us. We can go boldly to that throne of grace, and He's ready because He is touched with the feelings of our infirmities. He is ready to meet our need and to ask the Father to work. The myriads of angelic creatures are ready to work, and God is ready to intervene. We're not alone. And so as we start another week, who knows what's going to happen this week? I don't know what's going to happen. I can't predict what this week is going to hold. But it doesn't matter. God's on your side. He cares about you. He's touched by your burdens. He sees those tears. He knows those heartaches. And He's praying for you. Oh, can you imagine right now if you could hear the voice of the Son mentioning your name? Oh, how it would touch you. Well, spiritually you can, because God said so. So I want to encourage you, don't fall for Satan's lie. Don't get bitter. Get encouraged. And trust God that He knows what He's doing, and that what He is allowing is the best for you. And He really loves you, and He'll take care of you. And whatever happens this week, He's going to use it for great good and for His glory.